You're listening to Flip Empire, the show committed to helping real estate entrepreneurs who want to build their empire without sacrificing their life. Your success and freedom starts now with your host, Alex Pardo.
What is going on? This is Alex Pardo, and I am back on episode 651 here on the Flip Empire Show. I want to start by just thanking a gentleman on Facebook, Raphael W., because my man, I cannot pronounce your last name and I do not want to butcher it. You guys, we may or may not be connected on Facebook, and I've hit that like friend request on Facebook, and I got to do a better job. Maybe I got to get somebody on my team to help me clean out a lot of the quote unquote friends that I don't really communicate with, to open up some room for some of you, the audience of the Flip Empire Show. But I appreciate every now and then I get some people, Raphael, Mina, who comment when my team posts little snippets of the podcast. And this last Monday, we released episode 650. And I just went back and listen to that podcast because of some of the feedback I've received. It's one of the few podcasts I've listened to of my own from start to finish. And maybe I felt good about that one. I felt good about the message. I hope I delivered it clearly and concisely, but I appreciate some of the feedback I've gotten. And Raphael commented, thank you for sharing this. Your contents are very valuable, Alex. Great to see this. Mina, Alexander as well. Just want you to know, whether you comment on Facebook, on Apple Podcasts, you leave a rating and review. I read them, I listen, I hear it. I let the compliments land on me. I let the feedback resonate within me. And so just kind of personally thank a few of those people. And if you've taken the time, just know that while I might not be naming you, I thank you and I appreciate you. So I want to go ahead and I'm going to keep this episode short and sweet by design, on purpose, because I'm hoping that you take what you hear and you think of immediately 1, 2, or 3 people that you can share this episode with, share the idea with, share the big idea, and then go ahead and get a mini mastermind call scheduled ASAP. So I want to go ahead and introduce you to the concept mini mastermind, also known as a squad. Now, I want to kind of take you back. So I have been a part of, because of my involvement in a variety of communities, in different communities, business, personal, spiritual, etc. Friendships and bonds and relationships are formed within those community, within those masterminds, within those groups. And what I end up doing is communicating more frequently and more often with those that I align with, the people that are operating at a different level, but that we connect relationally, spiritually, our families sometimes build friendships and relationships. That just naturally happens organically. I can tell you firsthand within our Ascend community, we just got back from Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic, and everybody brought their families, or most people brought their families, and people connected on a different level. To this day, there's kids are communicating, families are communicating because of the bond that's built. And the same thing happens amongst our members. And as a result of that, Steve and I sent out a survey to our Ascend community after that retreat. And we took some time to just review it and digest it. And by the way, this call is not about Ascend at all. Stick with me, because I believe that this is something that is easy to implement and that you can gain so much as a result of it. There's a lot of joy, fulfillment, value extraction. There's so much you can gain from this, and it doesn't really take that much time to put this together, but it does take commitment and it does take consistency. So I want to circle back to the mini mastermind. So reviewing these forms, we asked people, why did they join Ascend? Why did they choose to make an investment in themselves, of not just of money, but of time, sacrifices, etc.? And it boiled down to 3 or 4 main things. Number one, people were seeking the right community. They were seeking to align themselves with the right people that were going to pour into them and that they could pour into, that they could elevate, grow with, that they could ascend, pun intended, with. So they were seeking community. They were seeking meaningful relationships, not surface level relationships, but meaningful relationships. They were seeking impact and more freedom. The other thing that kept coming up is that word accountability. I want to say 76, 77% of the people had the word accountability in their feedback in one way, shape, or form, whether on the form or verbal feedback that they gave us. And so Steve and I got back and we said, man, it is impossible. I hate to use the word impossible, but we feel like it's very challenging to replicate, to duplicate the feeling, the experience, the emotions that happen at one of our live Ascend retreats, one of our mastermind retreats. And so we had no illusions trying to duplicate that in a virtual setting, but we said, man, how can we add a more powerful, impactful deliverable, an additional deliverable that our members get? We're always looking at ways that we can continue to pump as much value as possible. And we're leaning on relationships. We're leaning on community. We're leaning on accountability, right? We're not trying to just give content just to like a lot of groups just add content and content and content. And what I find it does is that it ends up turning people away because most people don't have the time to consume. People are already in consumption mode. What they want more is connection. What they want more is relationships and community. And again, accountability. And so one of the things we came up with was introducing the concept of a mini mastermind within Ascend. So Ascend is a mastermind. Within Ascend, we have a mini mastermind. And honestly, I'm surprised we hadn't thought about this sooner because I've been a part of these mini masterminds for a number of years. Now, I'll be honest with you, the majority of these mini masterminds I've been a part of over time have fizzled out. Some have lasted a while. Others have lasted after a few handful of calls. And I find that these mini masterminds, they don't last because typically there's no investment into them other than time. And then when you pay attention, generally speaking, and people just don't prioritize them. Sometimes people show up, sometimes they don't, and it becomes very inconsistent. And you usually have one or two people that are there showing up for others, but others aren't showing up for them. But I can tell you that I have one mini mastermind that is going on almost a decade now. And I've had these gentlemen on my podcast before, Juan Carlos Bernal and Armando Cruz, two very dear close friends of mine who every single Wednesday morning at 7:30 without fail, unless one of us are traveling or we're sick or something like that, we're on a call. And I usually do a 3-mile walk. I'm on these calls with them and we pour into each other. We talk about business. We talk about our relationships. We talk about life. We talk about leveling up. We talk about impact. We talk about growth. Talk about freedom. I mean, we have meaningful dialogue, not surface level, talking about sports or talking about the weather, talking about, this and that. Like we're getting down to it and we're helping each other out. And I've grown so much when I look back and I think about the gain, when I think about what I've taken away and then what I've been able to contribute, I'm filled with fulfillment. I'm filled with happiness. I'm filled with like the ROI is immeasurable. And I'm also a part of, for the last probably 6 months or so, I'm part of another kind of mini mastermind within the storage industry. And I get to pour into these guys. They definitely pour into me. I'm in a group with a couple guys that own collectively over 230,000 square feet of storage. Like, you think I can learn a thing or two from these guys? I absolutely can, and I have. And then I'd like to think that I've been able to give back to them as well. So we introduced the concept of the mini mastermind within Ascend. And Steve and I now have, we've been very thoughtful and intentional about placing 3 to 5 people in their own mini masterminds within Ascend. And we're having a lot of fun with it. And those calls recently have gotten kicked off. So we've created a mini mastermind within our mastermind. And a few of those calls have already taken place. And I'm just excited about taking something that I have done for a number of years, and Steve as well, and now implementing it within our community. But what I ultimately want you to take from this is nothing is stopping you from creating your own mini mastermind. Nothing is stopping you from creating your own squad. The key for you is to identify 1, 2, or 3 people that are either is operating at your level or a bit above. People that there's a core value alignment. People that are just givers at heart. Go-givers, not people that are just with their hand out, always looking to take, but people that are equally there to receive as much as they're there to give. Identify. My challenge to you today is to come up with a list of people that you would like to mastermind with. Now, I've gone through this exercise myself, and I can tell you that you're going to hesitate to put certain names on there because you don't think they may want to, like, the inner critic in the back of your head is going to pop up. And you don't think that you can help them because they're operating at this level, or you don't think they'd want to be in a group with you, or XYZ. All this doubt, all this uncertainty tends to creep in. I just want you to create your wish list. Create your list of people, at least 10 names, people that you'd like to form a mini mastermind with, a mini squad with. And then I want you to, without fail, immediately send a text, send an email, make a call, create a quick video and text it to them. Do something to introduce and plant this seed with them. Now, I can tell you, when you plant the seed with someone, it may not sprout right away. It may not grow. Sometimes that's the reason you plant the seed, is because it may develop, it may come into something in the future. But create a list of people that you would like to mastermind with, that you feel in some way, shape, or form, you could add value to them, you could contribute, and then that they could pour into you as well. And then I want you to start simple, right? One of the things that we've done on our squad kickoff calls is talk about the fact that, hey, they get to design and create this squad and this experiment to best serve them. And that means frequency, right? Is it once a month? Is it once a week? Is it every other week? That means getting together on the same page with a calendar. That means creating a messaging platform for your squad or for your mini mastermind. That could be on Voxer, that could be on Slack, that could be on WhatsApp or simple text message. And that means committing to each other, right? So we had people fill out a form and they had to click several boxes that, hey, they were going to commit to their squad. Because one of the worst things is to commit to something and then have others just not reciprocate that, and then being really a call between one or two people. And then we shared best practices. When you hop on these calls, be very intentional about it. Don't waste the first 10, 15 minutes shooting the breeze, talking about just crap that doesn't matter. Like, get to it. We encourage people to designate or for somebody to step up as the initial squad leader, to coordinate the meetings, to lead the first call. And we actually, I'm going to see if I can bring it up here on Dropbox while I am creating this podcast episode, but there's a particular format that we've been following that we feel has been extremely beneficial. And I want to kind of share that with you on the podcast here. And the first one is to start off with some quick wins. There's a certain psychology about starting a meeting with a win, starting a meeting on a positive, starting a meeting on a high note. So each person takes a minute to 3 minutes to just share some quick wins. These could be big or small, business or personal. The next one is an accountability update, right? So like this more applies to like your second call and going forward, but on each call, you should end with a commitment, right? Hey, I commit to do this. I want to be held accountable to this. And on the next call, after the wins, you should share your accountability update. Hey, on the last call, this is what I committed to. This is what I said I would do. This is what I wanted to be held accountable for. And you got to be honest with yourself and with your squad members. This is what I did. This is what I didn't do. These are the challenges I ran up against, right? The next part of it is just kind of a typical hot seat format where every member gets a certain amount of time to contribute something, to start with a give. And this could be a quick minute, 2-minute share. And then your ask. Hey guys, here's what's holding me back. Here are some of the issues I'm faced with. And then you have the opportunity for others to pour into you. And then wrapping up that call, it could be taking notes on any insights or takeaways that you got from the call, sharing that. It could be commitments, right? Hey, here's what I commit to do. And then also, I think ending the call, you should already have a regular date and time where you're going to be doing your mini mastermind calls, but also just acknowledgement. Hey, I really appreciate this person for sharing, this person for opening up this way. Just acknowledging your squad members. That's how you start to create that bond, the relationship that I talked about on the last episode 650. Make sure you listen to that. That's how you start to build the relationships, the meaningful relationships in the community. And then you sow into each other. And then that just makes the community stronger. And I think that's one of the things Steve and I are most proud about with Ascends, and what we're continuing to do is to pour into each other. So just wanted to use Ascend as an example, because you can start doing this on your own. All you got to do is, again, the takeaway is create a list of people that you'd love to mini mastermind with. You be the leader, create a list, reach out to them. Let them know the vision you have for this, right? So like the format I just shared with you is just a particular format, but feel free to piggyback off of that and see if it works for you. And again, you get to curate and design this experience, this squad, however you choose and however it best serve you and your mini mastermind members. So that's what I got for you. I so appreciate you for tuning in, and reach out to me on social media. Send me an email, alex@flipempire.com, and let me know how it works out for you. My suspicion is that some of you are going to take action on this, and in 3, 6, 9, 12 months, I'm going to hear back on some of the fruit of you guys pouring into each other. So I hope you take advantage of this. Go make it happen. I'll connect with you on the next episode. Hope you enjoyed that episode. But before you go, I've had a lot of people recently reach out to me wanting to learn more about Ascend, wanting to understand how the mastermind component works, how the coaching relationship works. And so right now we're actually on a waiting list. But what I would encourage you to do is, if you think you're the right fit and you think you could benefit from being a part of our community, head over to ascendyoursuccess.com, watch the short video, and then just click the apply to join button below. And then we'll be in contact with you if and when a spot opens up. So really appreciate you listening to Flip Empire here, and I look forward to connecting with you on the next show. Take care.